Welcome to the Self-Care Show with Deidre Sanford. Although holistic and alternative healing methods are becoming more and more mainstream, what method is right for you? Welcome to the Self-Care Show with Deidre Sanford. Although holistic and alternative healing methods are becoming more and more mainstream, what method is right for you? How do you find a practitioner once you've chosen to explore an alternative therapy? Each week, Deidre will explore a different modality with practitioners who will explain their modality and the benefits they and their clients have received through their sessions. She and her guests may also offer live readings during the show. Now, your host of the Self-Care Show, Deidre Sanford.
And good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday, April the 26th. Where is the time going? I don't know, but you landed right here in the right spot. This is the Self-Care Show on WLTK-DB, and I am Deidre Sanford. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. I am so full of so many things that we should all be talking about. And unfortunately, I'm not even sure where to start. Like, where did the time go? And let's just take a moment to talk about spirits in the spring, because I know everybody else on this platform has been talking about it. And I'm not going to dwell on it for a super long time, except to say I agree with every single one of those positive, amazing things people said about this past weekend at Broadhead. Just an amazing event. The facility itself, Broadhead Manor, amazing. I don't have another word, so I'm just going to keep saying amazing, active, busy, but not loud. All of the energy seemed to run a little bit in the background, and everybody got to experience something this weekend. It was fantastic. I got to get back in and do some investigating. And I'm super excited to have been able to cross paths with Michaela and her team and so many other people this weekend. We'll get there, boy. I can't name them all. So I'm not even going to try because I will miss someone. And I don't want to do that. Hello, everyone. Thanks for popping in. I'm not sure who's coming in as Facebook user, but good morning to you too, sunshine. And then Alicia coming in Midwest Indiana. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. She's drinking coffee and looking at nature. That's a great way to do it. It was incredible. Amazing, amazing energy. All throughout the event, not just the energy of Broadhead Manor itself, but the peeps, all the peeps. You know, it's, oh, hey, Jamie Lynn. Now I know who you are. And your energy is included in that statement, my friend. It was so nice to finally meet you and get a chance to visit and talk. I don't have anything else to say other than it was amazing. The sense of community that ran throughout that entire event, during setup, during the entire event, as we all tore down, kind of didn't want to leave, because there was so much community and there was so much safe space in that place. It's crazy. Nick, thanks again for bringing us all together. Nick from Shadow Hunters, Paranormal Investigations and Events. Bill over at the building. Amazing stuff, guys. Just everybody. Fabulous. And thank you. I'm so honored to have been a part of that event. It's fantastic. And really, I couldn't have walked into that event the way I did had I not been through the things that I have been through since December 2023. I know we've talked a lot about springtime and transformation and growth and development over the last few weeks. And I know that I am super, super grateful for all of you who keep coming back and rejoining the show, despite the fact that I'm not always here. And there have been some times we just didn't have a show. And honestly, the show is transforming as much as I am. I mean, it can't help, right? If I'm in transformation, it's my show, so the show is going to transform. But all through Michael Christopher, thank you for coming in. It's nice to see you here at the Self Care Show, my dear. Since December, life has been a whirlwind and my world has been upside down. But you guys and all of my station siblings, this entire parafam, have helped keep me grounded and helped keep me together. So thank you for that. I traveled more in December than I was in town between going to the Lisa Williams event in Tampa, which turned my world on its ear all by itself. I spent quite a bit of time between December and March traveling to Arkansas to help care for my father and to work with his wife, my stepmom. It was a lot. A lot of it was really, really good, and a lot of it was really, really hard, but even the hard stuff was good. I will be MIA again in May because I need to go back to Arkansas. Hey, thank you, Jamie Lynn. I need to go back to Arkansas for Dad's memorial. He passed in March. And what an amazing, amazing experience it was. Um, you know, we see things differently, all of us, in our own ways. And to be able to work with him through the very difficult days and in the early part of his 70-day hospital stay, and to work with him again during his hospice care time at home was so fulfilling in so many ways. It was heartbreaking, absolutely. But Michael, Christopher, I think you can speak to this with me as well. We see crossing over differently. And there have been times when I thought, wow, am I really grieving my dad the way I should? Because it is an amazing transition. It was difficult to watch him reconsider some things and do some of his life review, talking through some of that, but also to reach the point where he can see or could see, still sees, I'm sure, some of the amazing, wonderful people that were a part of his lifetime, some of the very positive and transformational impacts he had on others. To watch that process, to work within that process with someone was bittersweet. It's the only word I have for it. And in fact, in my world, it is, yes, thank you. It is the very definition for me of bittersweet. And I had said that when my mom passed in 2010, 2010. I said that. And every time it has a different impact. I think I came to an understanding of the word bittersweet through providing home hospice care for my mom. And then journeying back to do that again in a very different way with my father was crazy different, but it was all amazing. Difficult time, but amazing. And I got plenty of headspace driving to and from Arkansas on the road by myself. So that was kind of essential and important for me. Transition, right? We talk about spring and how, like last show, we talked about, the flowers come up despite the fact they don't know if there's going to be a late frost. And we had one last night, boy. They're walking right into the unexpected as a new being. These plants are brand new beings. And I think every time we go through a transformative experience, we're kind of coming back out in the same way as a little bit of a babe in the woods. We have some wisdom behind us. We have our experiences behind us. But now we're going to experience everything in different ways, process it through different lenses. And maybe if you're like me, learning to process it a little bit less and just roll with it. So here we are, April 26th. Allison, that's a great question. I want to grab Lori and bring her in here too, so that she can help me address your question, because I think we're all going to have a different response to that based on our personal experiences. So today on the Self-Care Show, we are doing a reading show, and we're going to bring in my dear friend, Lori B. Welcome back to the show, Lori. And while we're waiting on Lori to join us, let's talk about Allison's question. Allison says, what if the passing is unexpected? I know, Allison, it's so very difficult to wrap your brain around the passing of other people, especially when it's unexpected. And really, good morning, Dawn. Really, all I can say is give yourself the opportunity to work with the shock and the surprise, and not push past it. Go ahead, sit with it. It's important to go through that process. Somewhere along the line, somewhere, usually it's my understanding, Michael, Christopher, please feel free to chime in. It's not always as unexpected to everyone else, meaning the person who's passing. I learned with my grandmother many years ago, they know, they have a sense in most cases, not in all of them, obviously. Things happen that are unexpected. My grandmother left a note one year when she packed up the Christmas ornaments saying, these are for Sue, my mom, when I'm gone. And we went back the next year, she had passed away, went back the next year and found those ornaments with that note. And I think we just kind of all stood around shocked and surprised to find the note. Lori, I can't see if you've been added to the show yet or not. Todd, somebody send me a comment in the chat. So let me know what's cooking, because as far as I can see, I'm still hanging out here all by myself. Allison, I don't know if that helped you at all. It's super difficult to go through these things. And yes, Michael, Christopher, thank you. He's agreeing that the soul knows, even if our conscious mind doesn't. Lisa, thank you. Thanks for joining us from San Francisco. That's a new town for me to hear on my comments and with our viewers that are logged in with us. And my phone's going off. And I am going to take a moment to check it because it could be one of these fantastic people I work with. Oh, yes, it's Todd saying the internet's down. So he's working to get it back up. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know, Todd, what's cooking. And you guys all know now that I'm hanging out here all by my little self because Todd's internet has gone crazy. Give me just a second. We're going to play ball here and see what we can do. So Lori's trying to get back into the show. I'm having to explain what's going on with our technical difficulties, but there's always a reason for everything. Maybe it's just to test my ability to be flexible. I hate to think about that. Oh, wow. Yes, Mercury retrograde, Lisa, it is a real thing, right? My goodness. Everybody hang in there. I'm going to hang in there and we're just going to roll with this. Oh, nope. Nope, Lori. Nope, can't see ya. Oh, wow. This is hysterical. I've never been through this before. We're just going to roll with it. All right, I'm back. Everybody else is already tuned in, or not tuned in, but I kind of had to let everybody else know what's going on. It's fantastic to see everybody here this morning. Thanks for listening to me ramble while I try to figure out what's going on with this show. B, thanks for joining us this morning as well. I love y'all coming in and letting me know that you're here. So what else is going on? This weekend was amazingly transformative. We're talking about spring and kind of rebirths. You know, transition is something that we all go through, and sometimes it's big, it's ugly, and it's messy. And sometimes it's small and it's just the blink of an eye. It's that moment when we find ourselves reacting differently than we normally would. Or it's the moment when we react in the same old way, but we simultaneously realize we're not reacting to that moment. We're reacting to something in the past. I know I've had that happen. And I was able to say, wow, you know, I reacted based on something out of the past and provide an explanation rather than this very present moment. And I was able to apologize, not just to the person with whom I was interacting, But I had to take a moment to apologize to myself and acknowledge that I really wasn't helping myself at all by reacting out of the present or out of the past. I needed to stay in the present. And that's a huge lesson. And it's not always easy to do. Allison says she believes her mom knew because she purchased tickets for all 4 grandkids. Oh, that's beautiful. Brushing it off and not taking it seriously is such a normal thing to do, Allison. It's not the passing of someone near us or even somebody that we just kind of rubbed shoulders with a few times does have an effect on us. And it doesn't always serve us to ignore it. We kind of need to just look at it and say, they knew. And I think it really clearly indicates to us that we all have the ability to hear, yes, reacting like a 4-year-old girl, a 14-year-old girl. We all have our own intuition. And many of us don't have the opportunity to learn to really listen to it and to incorporate it into our daily lives. We can all walk around saying, hey, trust your gut, trust your gut. It's easy to say to other people, but sometimes it's not that easy for us to remember to do it for ourselves. Dawn, I don't have any other investigations right now that I'm going to be attending, but in September, I will be at Illuminate Naperville outside of Chicago doing table readings and presenting a workshop. And I will also be joining Illuminate Festivals once again in Bloomington, Illinois, the following weekend. I think it's like the 20th and the 26th. Those are actually listed on my website already. So you can pop over there. It's on the screen. DEIDREL Sanford, SANFORD.com, and find out where you can find me. Otherwise, between now and then, you can find me right here on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Grieving is such an important process, and it can be so very difficult to navigate. But being, oh, you were the last to speak with her. What an amazing gift. Yeah. Absolutely, to be involved in that process in any capacity, let alone being the witness that you were for your family. Such a reward and such a beautiful gift. It's difficult. And again, we'll circle back to bittersweet. Acting like a 14-year-old girl. Yes, I have done that even as a 50-year-old woman. We're not going to talk about how old I am now. I still do it once in a while, but some of those behaviors are hard to break. But that's because those behaviors are sitting in our physical form. They're not just reactions that come out of nowhere. They're reactions based on experience. And it goes back to conversations about learning that fight or flight is really and truly for life-threatening situations, but our bodies get primed and stick in fight or flight. And we need to find our way out of that. But that's what we work on in root cause therapy. It's also a little bit about what we can look at, talk about, and work on in readings too. What's going on? How are things now? How were things in the past? And how do we grow and develop moving forward? What do we see moving forward? Both in root cause therapy and readings, which to me are intricately linked. How do we look at that? How do we incorporate it? Or how do we find ways to let go of that which no longer serves or that which is standing firmly in our way, so that we can actually move forward? Oh, they're still repairing the lines, Todd said, from the tornado that hit down there a couple of weeks ago. Lori says she's back in, but Todd is not able to jump in and bring in a guest. So here we are. It is 20 minutes into the show, and I guess what I really need to do is open this up for your questions for the reading show that we promised to give today. Lori will jump back in. Hopefully she can help us out with that as well. But in the meantime, I'm here. So if you've got things going on, questions, or if you just want to leave it wide open to find out what spirit really wants you to know right now, we can address it from that aspect as well. Sometimes it's hard to formulate specific questions, especially in this kind of format. They may seem too personal, but that's part of why I was talking about my experience traveling in December, some of the things that have been happening with me, my father's passing. You know, we talked about this is supposed to be, this show, this format here is supposed to be a safe space to choose to share and to choose to be vulnerable. And as I was going through the things that I've been experiencing this year, I wasn't completely open with you guys. Only because I will. Lori, thank you. Only because I was still wrapping my own head around it. So that was my turn to say, hey, I've been going through a lot. And you can see by the backdrop, I've moved. I'm no longer in my other office, and I'm working on getting this one established. Allison wants to know, do you recommend turning those heartbreaking, where did it go? Everybody's chiming in at once. I lost you. So do you recommend turning those heartbreaking final moments into gifts or positive moments instead? Is that a way to cope? Looking at a final goodbye as a gift instead of a sadness. Lori saw your question and she's messaging me and she said, tell Allison. The answer to her question is yes. It is important, from my perspective and in my experience as well, to acknowledge the hurt and the heartbreak and the sense of loss, and to allow yourself to experience the grief process, however that works in your world, because it's different for everyone. But when we're clearer and we've let go of some of the heaviness, it's so much easier to see those positive moments, as you stated. So much easier to experience those moments as gifts. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but allowing ourselves to experience those beautiful moments, no matter how heartbreaking or heart opening they are. The heart opening portion of that heartbreak is the opportunity to find the positivity, to reflect back on the essence of the person versus just the specific things that they accomplished in their lives. Looking at the accomplishments is important. But when we look at the essence of the person, it can be much more difficult. It can be more painful, because then we're allowing ourselves to truly acknowledge what the special qualities of those people were before they passed, that we got to enjoy and maybe even take a little bit for granted throughout life. So it makes it harder, I think, in some ways. But the essence of that person is truly the standout, right? Achievements are great. But who were they? What motivated them to achieve the things that they achieved during their lifetime? We can talk about people they knew, people they associated with, who were perhaps celebrities in some circles, or straight up celebrities. But what was the true connection with that celeb? How did they get there? What process did they go through in their lives to reach that point where they could work and compete or talk with those celebrities? What did that teach our person who passed away? That's the stuff that can make it so hard for us. The achievements are awesome. We need to recognize them. But what did it do? How did it shape that person? Or how did getting to that point of achievement shape that person? Were they tenacious? Were they giving? Were they loving? Those are the things that I find are positive, that we get an opportunity to hang on, that help me to go through my grief process, that help me not lose my emotional equilibrium when I think about my dad, but the strength, the quiet running that he always had, his ability to back off from a situation, consider from several points of view, and then come back to discuss the situation. And I didn't understand that when I was a kid. I thought, oh man, I'd go to him with a problem looking for help and direction or things to consider. And it would take a day or so before I'd get anything back. It drove me nuts as a teenager. But as an adult, I can see it was actually the wise way to do it, to make sure that he was bringing me something from his experience, but not necessarily an answer. That drove me nuts too, but I can see the value in that now. Allison, that was a long answer, but I hope it helped you. We're working on all of this. Let's see. I don't know that I'm going to get into mediumship today, Allison. I'm so sorry. If I can come back to your question, I will. Alicia. Crossroads in spring and transition. It all fits right into today's show. Lori, feel free to chime in too. I know you can still see the comments. I still want to have you join our show. I know Todd's not able to bring you back into the show directly, but I know she's over here in my messages, my personal messages. Oh, look, Lori's here. Hey, girl.
Oh, hey, I didn't even know I was back here.
You just popped back in. Look at that.
Again.
I say we'll jump into the reading portion of the show, and Todd was magically able to bring you back. I love
did put in regular comments too.
Oh, there you are. I just saw one from you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Lori was adding, I think we're still speaking with Allison or to Allison when Lori said, we need to learn to rejoice in that person's transition to the other side. They finished their work in this realm. And I think it's also
and that's hard. That's part of our lessons, I think.
Yeah. There you go, Allison.
Thank you.
Allison just popped in with great things. She said she was absolutely loving and kind and giving. And that's the essence of the person, right? I think that's where we find our true nuggets. Donna's saying, welcome back, Lori. Todd's back in, clearly. He's got Lori's contact information here in our chat. Lori's website is loribpsychicmedium.com. It's Lori, Lori, B as in boy, psychicmedium.com. There we go. So Lori, we were just popping over to, I believe, Allison had asked if her mom was aware we were with her in her final days. And I wasn't real sure we were going to get into mediumship today.
Well, I wouldn't say we're going to get into mediumship, but I would say just as a general rule of thumb, they always know.
Yeah.
If they're not coherent, if they're coma-like, whatever, they know we're there. They still hear us. Their soul sees us because as I've learned, been told, that the soul leaves the body before the body leaves the earth. So while they're in transition, their soul can be here and their body still being in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
And their soul sees everything.
Kind of jumping a little bit back and forth. We've talked about, so many of us medium type folks have talked about knowing that those who preceded them in death are visiting, are standing by, letting them know that they're here waiting. There's a reception line, so to speak.
Right.
I know my uncles showed up to me so that I could share with my dad that they're ready, they're waiting, and they're looking forward to seeing him, and they will help him acclimate.
Yep.
I hope that helps, Allison. I agree. They're aware. Just from the things my mom said, from the things that my dad said, they know. And usually, at least with those two, until they were fully seated in that they were ready to let go, they didn't. All right. We ran into Alicia. Alicia is up, and Alicia had said, I would love to hear what spirit wants me to know the most. She says she's at a crossroad and she's looking for any kind of direction.
Who's this for? Alicia?
Alicia.
Okay. Go ahead, start. I'm shuffling.
We're both shuffling.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use because
Alicia, I feel like when you say you're at a crossroads and you're looking for any kind of direction, there are several places in which you're in transition too. Although home looks pretty stable and solid and like a comfortable place, a place for you to be able to safely consider all of your options, are you looking at not just changing a career, but also changing some of your more intimate relationships? Because I feel like, yeah, there's really a whole lot going on here. Oh, Julie just popped in. It's her mom's birthday. I feel like, Alicia, oh my gosh, it's like a ripple effect. You know, when you drop a pebble in the water and you watch everything ripple out in waves, one small change facilitates lots of other bigger changes. It feels like you're looking for something at work that is much less mundane, that's more connected to you personally. And that opportunity, you're working toward creating, and it's super close around the corner. There's more interoffice cohesion. Like your team is closer. Everyone communicates more effectively. There's fun. There's mutual respect. and you're more fulfilled with what you're doing. And you're looking at changing your career field altogether. Is that correct? Hey, Sherry. Everything's changing, and it's changing for the better. Don't panic and make a quick decision.
Can I jump in now?
Please.
Okay. So I got 2 cards, 2 decks. The first card I got for is Get Your Power Back. The second card, which ties into what you were just saying, is Surrender. She's got to trust, that word we all hate. She's got to trust in whatever's happening.
I feel like when we're looking for direction, we're really busy looking externally, and we're getting information from other people who are very well-meaning and people that we trust for certain. But you know what? Ultimately, the thing that seems like the wildest, most ridiculous choice for you is the one that's going to work best for you in the long run.
Yeah.
And you're even looking at that opportunity going, oh, I don't know. I don't think that's right. I would love that. It would be wonderful. Then do it. Follow your gut. Because that's the right choice.
Yeah.
And it's
trust your intuition.
Even
Trust
more doors.
Your intuition.
And that's an answer we all hate to hear. I feel like what we're saying is you already know which way you want to go, but you're afraid to take the leap. Take the leap. Because it's more beautiful for you in the long run than you think it's going to be. Hit the nail on the head 100%. I literally have no job right now. There's a reason, Alicia, we need to let the dust settle from the last place so we don't carry it with us to our new place.
Okay. And she also I don't know if you can see her comment now, but she says she has self-doubt and a hard time trusting her own intuition.
Don't we all?
That's a hard one to do. It's a hard one to do, is to trust yourself. But it's not about trusting yourself. It's about trusting spirit and where they're leading you. And you just have to take that leap of faith. They're not going to steer you wrong. It might get rocky. Nobody said it was easy, and they definitely don't make it easy on us a lot of the time. But as Deidre has to test.
Yeah, I was looking at what we were going to talk about this morning, and I kept going back to transition. And really, the shortest way to get to what I was going to say is that whole story about the butterfly goes in the cocoon and reduces itself to goo and regrows and then comes out. Sitting in the goo phase is the hardest, most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, stressful, sleep loss period ever.
And that's when we have the least amount of trust in ourselves.
Yeah, but that's where that trust in ourselves is also born.
Yep.
And welcome to the club, because you know what? I feel like a great big glob of moving goo these days. It's essential to us, and it's, being in transition.
Your wings are starting to unfold.
Really, really sucks. Transition is just not comfortable. And, the uncomfortable zone is where we grow and find our feet. So you will. It'll happen. I know it's difficult, but that job shows up when you allow yourself to believe that you truly deserve and can have that which sets your soul on fire, like a phoenix. All right, Miss Allison. Aww. She knows how much she was loved, my friend, and she knows you miss her every day. There's a sense of what is she doing? Lori, are you seeing what I'm seeing with mom occasionally or grandma just reaching out and touching her chin, holding her face, like the random brush on her face? Alicia, is there a spot?
Like this.
I mean,
I feel like she's doing like this, going, you need to listen. I'm here. Listen.
Allison, I'm sorry. I got my A's confused. Allison, I feel like there's a random spot that you just absolutely reach up and scratch on your face, reach up and rub. And I feel like those are the times, and Lori sees, those are the times that she's there with you. And she's just, I've got cradling the face. We both have it in some aspect. I don't know if that was emotion that she did in life often when she spoke to you was to hold your face, or if she's only showing us that she's doing that now. but she is there. She does hear you. She knows she's missed. She knows how much you love her. And she shows you this sign, or shows us this sign, and you find that random place on your face when she's with you and showing you her love for you as well.
And she says, in her previous comment, she wishes she could speak to her. And that's totally doable, Allison.
Absolutely.
And you know that. That's the whole thing. You know you can talk to her. And if you listen well enough, you'll hear her. But she can hear you. You can talk in your head. You can talk out loud. But she hears everything you say.
There's a random song on the radio that she gets to hear too as a reminder from her mom. And I know that sounds silly because we all have random reminders, but there is a specific song that you keep hearing, and that's because she wants you to hear it. It's her one of her reminders to you.
Yeah, there's our days there where I'm driving down the road and my mind's going over my losses, and then that song comes on and it's like, okay, fine, I know you're here. Okay, I remember now. You're here.
Yeah. Alicia, my friend, that's a very difficult, very painful space to be in, the anxiety. And I understand that. I'm familiar with it. And let's talk. Shoot me an email. Reach out to me on Facebook. My business page is Deidre and Friends. It's DEIDRE & Friends. You can also find me on my website, DEIDRELSANFORD.com. There's some interesting things that we can talk about with the anxiety. A lot of them are pretty personal, so I'll just leave it at that, but you're always welcome to reach out. We got Allison, we got Alicia. Allison has been, are you seeing her comments? She's been doing the facial reach for her son lately.
Yeah.
And yes, girls just want to have fun.
Go have some fun.
In other words, lighten up, allow yourself to enjoy some time. Yeah, it's okay to bounce back and forth out of the hurt and the sad feelings, but go ahead and lighten up and enjoy yourself, because that's important part of your process as well. Lori, Dawn has chimed in, and she's speaking specifically to you because I told her yesterday, I live with you. I can no longer read you. So she's asking
okay,
you.
This is Dawn. So this is the Dawn.
She would love to know if Spirit has anything she needs to know right now.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to pull multiple decks here. I don't know why I got to pull multiples.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay, got me a jumper.
Love you too, darling.
Okay, one more deck and then I'll give her what I've got. Can you pin her question by chance? So I'm just keep scrolling up.
No, for some reason I cannot.
Okay. I haven't heard anything from Todd, so I'm assuming he's out again.
She would just love to know if Spirit has anything she needs to know right now with everything going on in her life.
Okay. All right. This is for Dawn. Come on, angels. Give me something for Dawn. All right. She's got good cards. Okay, so the first card that I pulled for Dawn is Be a Light to Others, which, knowing what I know, she already is.
Yep, that's her whole MO in life.
It also says you have a powerful message to share. Shine your light on the world so others can learn from you. And then the next one that fell out was from Lisa Williams' cards, and it's the tree. And it says knowledge, wisdom, and strength. Again, knowing what I know, she is a strength to others. She has a lot of wisdom, but you need to share that. Don't keep it to yourself, and don't keep it just to your inner circle, and you'll know what I'm talking about. You need to expand that circle to share it with others. And then the last one I got is the King of Fire, There it is.
It's a
And
beautiful
it
card.
says focus. And it says you need to communicate with vision and be a leader. So wherever you're at, you need to expand. You need to start showing others the way. You know, and just don't hold it in just to a little group of people. You need to expand it out. And I'm hearing Spirit has big things for you in whatever aspect that is. I'm not aware, but I feel like things are fixing to change for you. Probably what I'm hearing is in the next 6 months, there's going to be some type of opportunity for you to either take a leadership role with somebody or multiple people. I'm not going to limit it to one. It's not just one. Hold on a second. I feel like there's something big can happen in the next 6 months for you, Don. But you're going to share your knowledge. You're going to share your strength. And it's like the tree, you've got branches going everywhere. And you're like the trunk of the tree. And all the branches are all the little people that you're going to be helping and advising and sharing your wisdom with, because you're the trunk of the tree. You're that pillar of strength. So I hope that makes sense to you.
Right. Ha! Keep my comments to myself. But hey, guess what? I finally found the starred comments.
Oh, okay.
So Julie sent us a question at 10:27, and we're just getting back to it. Julie, I am so sorry for the delay. I hope you're still with us. But Julie said, it's my mom's birthday. Anything from her for me? Oh, it sounds like mom has passed, and she wants to know if mom has any messages. So I guess we are doing mediumship today.
I'm trying to find her thing.
Hmm?
I'm trying to, you said 11:26?
10:27.
10, okay, well, I'll see how long these from here. So. Okay.
Thanks. Todd just highlighted it for us.
Okay. Okay. You getting anything?
Julie, was your mom a baker by any chance? Because I am seeing a cake, but I'm seeing it more as though mom is presenting it to you. Cake is
She said not really.
and sweet. It's got like beautiful frosting. And it's as though mom is saying, life is sweet. Life is sweet. I am well. I'm watching, and your life is beautiful as it unfolds.
Look who just popped in.
Must be Diet, because you wouldn't have said it any other way.
Baked her favorite cake. Julie baked her favorite cake.
Ah, so she's
So that's your mom's way of saying she saw that, Julie. So Deidre picked up on the cake. But Julie, I have to ask, and I feel like this is your mom. Are you having any type of stomach issues right now? Because I feel like she's telling you need to take care of yourself. There's something, I feel like she's trying to say that there's something going on with your stomach that you need to pay attention to. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, she knows whatever it is, and she wants you to pay attention to it and take care of it.
I still stand by. Life is sweet. She's well. She's watching over you, and she's proud. And she's happy to see that things are going well. All right, Miss Julie, I think we got that one covered. Anything else you wanted to add, Lori?
Just she needs to get take care of that stomach issue that she's having.
Okay.
She's working on it.
I was going to grab Angel next. She came in at 10:32. I think Todd's going to pop that in for us. Thank you, Todd. She wants to know if she can have a reading about her dreams. She said, last night, I think I helped a spirit cross over, and she wants clarity. I am not a dream interpretation person.
I'm not either, but I think that if you think you did, you most likely did. And that's going to be what you need as far as clarity on that. I would say that you need to maybe get with somebody who does do dream interpretations. And I don't know anybody off the top of my head. But this might be something where you're being led, a path that you're being led down. So this might have been the beginning of it for you.
And that's what I got to. My question was going to be, are you aware of your own abilities?
Yeah.
And if you're not already working with them, I think this is also in part, this is what I initially got.
Chills as you're talking.
Transitional for you. And so as Lori says, showing you what you may be able to do or what you already are able to do. I don't know if you're already working with your abilities or not, but they're certainly there. And they're showing up for you, showing you not only what you are doing, but what else is possible.
Right. Yeah. She needs to get with somebody that can help her to advance her abilities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A different, deeper understanding. I feel like you're already aware, and it's not something that you work with often.
No, and I catch fear too.
I was going to say skittish or squeamish a little bit on stepping your foot on that path. It ain't always easy, darling, but it is so much fun, and it is so rewarding to be able to do the work. It's amazing how rewarding it is to see other people's light bulbs go off and see other people shine and have new understandings of things around them and just themselves as well. Grateful for the opportunity. Was there anything else, Miss Angel? Did we miss anything for you? I don't know if Angel is still with us. It was a few minutes ago that she popped in. Hopefully she'll get her opportunity to check that out. Miss Allison, looking for guidance from Spirit about her marriage. My first question is this really something you want to talk about on this show? It's out there. You asked the question. I get it. I respect it. What is the crack in the foundation? I'm seeing a house, concrete slab, and there's a little bit of a crack in it. It's not a big fissure. It's not a huge issue. Not to belittle the situation that you feel like you're standing in. I feel like it's not as big or irreparable as it may seem. There is a shift, but it can be a very positive shift. Depends on who you choose to play it.
And the card I got with that question is the way forward is open. Doesn't mean that you leave, but it just says you're not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. So I would say, as Deidre said, there may be cracks, but they can be fixed. But you also have to be willing to put the work into it. Don't be just black and white. You've got to look for the gray areas too.
I feel like there's a conversation that
needs to happen.
Where is this accent coming from? Because I'm wanting to say there's a conversation y'all need to have, and it's uncomfortable. Choosing not to face the uncomfortable conversation doesn't leave the door open to see what can be redirected. I'm not going to say fixed. I'm saying redirect it because I feel like there is some disconnect in understandings of some things, why they happened the way they did, or a perception that when shared clarifies things. Open the door to that conversation because I think that is the answer to your question. And as Lori was saying, keep your heart open when you have the question. Take your heels out of the ground and
Knock the walls down.
Keep them firmly on the ground, but open your heart when you have the conversation. Speak with your heart, not with your hurt. Hopefully that helps.
She says, I literally just felt like I was stuck. Definitely cracked. I live in Florida and say y'all. That's where you get the thing. Yes, major misunderstanding and miscommunication.
So when you said about the work together of trying to clarify the miscommunication and the misunderstanding, do it with an open heart. Not just an open mind, but an open heart. Standing firm is good. Are you saying you need to step up and make more efforts, or the both of you need to step up and make more efforts?
They have to find a new way of communication since what they're doing isn't working. They need to find that happy medium. And it might be writing to each other. If you can't talk about it, write it. And then exchange letters.
I agree only to a point, and that is that if we're writing rather than face to face,
right,
we're probably going to be braver and potentially more open in our expression. But
okay, but you can write it and then read it to the person.
Thank you. I was going to say
sometimes write it. It's easier to write it. The words don't come necessarily out of your mouth at that moment. But if you take a minute, write it, and then you both sit down and read what you've written to each other, and don't change what you've written. That might help.
Thank you for saying that, because I was going to say so much can get lost or misinterpreted through just reading. I love that you're talking about write that letter and then read it to each other.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. And then the other one I always use is, okay, I can't find another way to say this. I'm just going to say it. And if it gets messy, we'll clean it up. It gives you the opportunity to just really verbally vomit whatever needs to needs to come out and needs to be said. But it also gives you the opportunity to go back and say, okay, what do I need to clean up? What didn't come across clearly? What can I help reframe? Right. Because we all hear through our own lenses.
And they both have to be open to hearing.
Yeah, I'm going to say that one more time. Exactly. We all hear through our own lenses. So whatever emotional experiences we have in our past are our filter for everything we're experiencing in this moment. And that goes back to find a new way to communicate with each other and listen with your heart. Those past experiences and the resulting emotions, whether they're with this partner or with another situation, are absolutely valid in your life, but they belong to those individual events.
Yeah, I'm also seeing that they need to not just focus on that, but at some point say, okay, we're not going to discuss this. We're going to go out. We're going to go for a walk.
Yes.
Together. They have to make that time, but that time is their special time. They're not going to discuss whatever their differences are. They're just going to take that moment and go for a walk.
Date night. No serious conversation, just fun.
But I see them walking. They need to take a walk.
Perfect. And Allison, I think she said, it's a great idea. I usually verbally vomit, but he doesn't hear or understand me fully. I understand that. Really understand that. Sometimes our receiver or the person who's listening to us can get overloaded and overwhelmed with all of the verbal vomit. And they're trying so hard to keep up that they miss information and other stuff that's coming through.
And sometimes when you're trying to get your point across, you have blinders on where you cannot do anything but say what you feel, and you don't hear what the other person's response is.
Right. Oh gosh. Okay. Are we listening to respond or are we listening to understand? Yikes. Okay. I hope that helped, Allison. A little bit of a lot, actually. There was a lot in there, and a little bit. I mean, we love the writing idea. I love the idea that if you're writing to each other, you're going to read it to each other so that they can hear the appropriate inflection
Right.
and the emotion in the words, and not just fill in the blanks with their own stuff.
Yeah.
Shamanta, I think, is going to be our last one. This time went fast, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us for the during all the technical crazy. And thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. Again, Lori can be found on her website at psychicmediumlorib.com. I'm on my website, DeidreSanford.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Deidre and Friends. Shamanta says, trying to go to the US to start my career. When will I go there? Well, without even looking at this in a psychic way or pulling a card on this, I can say congratulations to you. I have a lot of respect for your bravery and your courage. That's a huge transition and a huge move. I don't get a when.
I don't either.
Are you waiting for the money to make this move? Yes, Allison, it always takes two, but you need to get on the same page and find the same jumping off point. Shamanta, I'm wondering what's holding you back from making strides toward making the move. It feels as though this is a great idea and a dream, and it sounds fabulous, and I believe it works very well for you in the long run. However, I feel like there's an obstacle that you see as like this big immovable boulder in front of you.
And I think that's self-imposed. I feel like that's self-imposed, that obstacle.
But so what I was going to say is the obstacle can be overcome. It just needs it needs some creativity. It needs some thinking outside the box, which is self-imposed. Get out of your own mindset and open your idea to other plans. Yes, it is your dream, but what is your plan? I get that that's your dream. Thank you for that confirmation. I feel like we're missing a plan. What concrete steps can you take to help yourself make this an achievable goal? Lots of possibilities for ways to make this achievable. It's going to take some baby steps.
Yeah, I'm getting it's not going to be something that's happening overnight.
Yeah, in the blink of an eye.
Because they have to put the work in to make it happen. There's not a plan. There's not a clear direction.
Okay, so we see that the difficulties are there, and you understand that you have the difficulties, but they're not as steadfast as you think. They're not immobile or immovable objects that are standing in your way. There are ways to work with these. Hey, Courtney, thanks for tuning in. I understand that some of these obstacles that you're facing are very real, and they're not all within your control. Bureaucratic red tape, etc. That can all be worked with. However, there are some other smaller steps that can be taken to further the process and make the process easier for you. It's not as far off as you may think. It's only as far off as you allow it to be without taking the small planning steps that can help make other things move forward easily for you. It stalls the project. Do your research. Where are you going? What do you want to do? And part of the question is the true motivation behind why.
Right.
I feel like once you have a solid understanding of why you actually want to achieve the move, then this things that feel like big obstacles in your way have a new appearance and they become more workable for you. Oh, wow. I'm going to be the one to say, do some journaling. Lori, I think, would typically say some automatic writing.
Yeah.
And maybe do some journaling to get out of your own way and get a clearer picture on, why do I really want to do this? I feel like
their best.
There's some heavy emotion around making the decision, like getting away from, leaving, okay, for your business, leaving something behind and moving away from it. And I would ask you to do some journaling about what you want to create versus what you choose to leave behind.
And along with the writing, I would say do some meditation, do some heavy meditation, and talk to your guides and see if this is the right path.
In a beat.
I feel like they really need to get in touch with their guides for some guidance.
All right. That's what we got. It's workable. It can be done. The obstacles aren't as big as you think they are. And this is actually going to go very well for you. Drop back to the planning. Yep. Planning for a job, then business. But why? I don't think the reasons are really what you're allowing yourself to look at. It's deeper. Is it a soul calling? Is it just a stepping stone? I can see that you're making strides toward planning once you arrive, but what decks do we need to clear to make it an easier path for you to make this move? I feel like once you have a handle on the true reasons for wanting to make the move, things go more smoothly for you and the doors start opening up. Oh, it's always a pleasure to see you too. Thank you for tuning in this morning. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up for us.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you both being here. Happy spring. Happy transformation. Remember, sometimes that big old bundle of goo is actually the most amazing, incredible butterfly you've ever seen. And you don't have to be goo forever. And that brings us full circle. Hi, Allison. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you'll come in and join us all again sometime again in the near future. Until next week, Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., this is The Self-Care Show. My guest today and co-reader is Lori B., Psychic Medium. I'm Deidre Sanford, and you're watching us on WLTK-DB. Have a fantastic rest of the week, everyone.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.